court positions. For approval, authorize the Human Resources Department to process payment to the employees under the jurisdiction of the courts for those positions which were in question due to funding. Payment shall go through the regular payroll process at the rates approved at the annual salary board meeting of January 3, 2023, and retroactive to January 1, 2023.
I'll make that motion with discussion.
Second.
All right, I think, our solicitor, gave us a little bit of an update on what the laws are. And I think for myself, I disagree with some of this. And, the motion that was passed at the annual salary board were for increases that were above the commissioner's proposed rate of the 2023 budget. The commissioner's proposed rates were presented at the annual salary board, and an appeal process would be set up in a few months to update job descriptions with possible outcome of pay increase if justified. The process was not used by the courts. Some of the other, most of them went through the process and okayed the proposal, but the courts did not do that. And the rate for court employees was held at the 2022 rate, not even giving the non-contested positions a chance for an increase. Currently, there is money in the budget, but to my understanding, it's due to vacant positions. Now, what's going to happen when them current vacant positions are filled? For example, 4 positions at $40,000 is an increase of this budget of $160,000. If this ripples across the county, just say 15, and we have more than 15 positions that are vacant. 15 positions at $15 an hour, $1,820 or $1,800 a year. That's $409,500. That will force us into a tax increase. I know there's some people that want to do tax increases, but I don't think we have to just on an issue like this. And I've been an advocate for the salaries all this time. I never said that anybody didn't deserve a raise. It didn't matter if they were making $11 or $40 an hour. I never said that. But the way that this is going to get straightened out, this system has been in place in this county for 30, 40 years, and it's time to change. And the biggest thing that can be done to this county is redo these job descriptions and give the people the proper pay that they should. And, you know, I just look at this now, we're looking at this, everybody always comes up here and they go, oh, the inflation is so high and what are we gonna do with our employees? Well, every week, somebody puts in that they want comp time, okay? I've been against comp time since I've been here. Any place I ever worked or any of my friends ever worked, when you worked over your time, you got overtime or either the time you were compensated. Now we're telling everybody that all of these people are so important, but we're giving them more time off. That's not giving them any more money in their budget. They're still making, if they're making $36,000, they're still making $36,000. If they would have, in fact, someone last week, I think they put in for 5 hours for 5 weeks, and we get this continuous. Wouldn't that be nice if them people had them hours paid for, that they can buy that tomato that they're looking for or that extra steak that they need? You know, I've never seen a system like this. And I didn't want to bring this up on how people are treated. And I've always tried to treat everybody fairly. It doesn't matter where I was throughout my life. You know, we got a good person here, and now we're picking on people that we're getting new in here. You know, the IT director didn't want to call me up because I advocated for him. He's a young person, and that's what we need, our young people to step up to the plate instead of putting them in when they're 60 years old at a position like this. You know, they have to step up. And, you know, he was denied overtime when he came in. He put all these times in. But the last director that was there, probably for 18 months, got overtime. And then we're looking at it, where are we not treating our people right? We've been doing it. I see that. And I want these people to get overtime. And why is this in here? We're contesting over this money that's in the budget for people that aren't even here that, and like I said, is this the way the budget was padded to make it look like we're doing a good job? You know, that we always have money to rely on? You know, but I just don't see it. This money that's in this budget, that to me, that's there for these vacant positions. If we got people coming in and they're working overtime, they should be paid for it. There's no other place in the world that I think that you come in and like I said, everybody that comes in here, every department, their employees are so important. They want to give them more money, but we sit here and give them more time off. So that means we don't need that. You're giving them more time off. Does that mean we don't need them? You know, now we got vacant positions, like I said, that people are coming in to cover for the vacant positions and we're not paying the people. But we sit here every week and say, boy, the inflation is really bad. But that's where we mistreat our people. And like I said, our IT director, when I went to a seminar with him, he was asked by Homeland Security to work for them. And he gave that job up. I mean, that was a couple months ago. He gave that job to come here, and he was here for 1 month, and we denied him overtime. We are abusing our people. We got to start helping the people out a little bit better and pay them for the time that they're here. But I mean, and like I said, this thing with this salary motion, you can stand on that all they want. But what is going to be the projected thing for when this money is given to the other employees? What are we going to run into next year's budget? I don't know. Like I said, I'm projecting here. I look at $409,000 already, just for that. So where are we going here? And I don't know. Is it back? Should we get rid of some of these positions? And that would help. And you know what? In our office here alone, now we had a process. One of our employees retired, so they moved up, and the next one moved up, and it kept going like that. Within our budget here, I think I have it on. I think it was like $89,000 or $8,900 we saved in our budget. Colleen retired, Lisa moved up. I think we saved $8,900 on 3 people. That isn't our money, it's the taxpayers' money. And that goes back into the pot for next year to give raises. Like everybody comes in here and they think everything is their money. It's not. It's the local taxpayer that's paying for it. And I think when we do this stuff, we're abusing it. We're abusing it just by this one little thing where we're not paying these people on just comp time alone. How many people come in here, like I said, that could buy that tomato? Or maybe if they're going to get $50 extra a week, that they can pay for their gas to get to work. We're not even giving them compensation to get here. And it's plain simple. That's it. So I think everybody can come in and argue over this motion, but this is not right. That's my stance on it. And you can sit here, Wayne, and talk about it for 100 years. This has been going on for 20 years, and now I'm the bad guy that wants to get people wages. So you just keep on your campaign and do what you got to do.
I would agree 100% on the comp time, except for a few hours because it's carried away, and eventually those people have to take off. But I remind you, you keep saying about the budget, and what was in the budget were the funds for the purchasing director in there for that 2057, and I agree that person needs it, as most the IT people, I agree 100%. And that IT person didn't only leave because of the money, they were treated the way they were attacked at a meeting. So,
Well, I can guarantee you I never attacked anybody. Maybe
no,
you
I didn't
did,
say
but
it was
didn't.
you. I didn't say
I
it
don't
was you.
attack anybody.
Yeah,
And you know,
no.
that person, if they would have hung around, they came to other people. I was the one that was working on the salaries, and they came to somebody else. And if they would have listened to me, in fact, even like the election director might have been here too, but they went to somebody else besides me.
And you're saying that we could have probably straightened it out come January 1.
And that was my suggestion. That was when we were having all these meetings about these salaries. Nothing ever happened from October, November, and December.
Okay, so I
So-
would, well, to begin with, those people leaving, yeah, I would have liked to see them stay as well. But to turn around and pay other new people is a lot more money. Was that money put in the budget for that higher increase in purchasing?
And I go back to it again. I don't know if anybody knows how the salary works. You get money through attrition. And when people do retire, we want the people to have a good life to retire. And like I said, just in our department alone, we saved $8,900. That this money is, that person, whatever this person in the next department is moving up or getting, that we can use that money. But like I said, everybody thinks that's their money in that department. I don't look at it. I think these girls here got a decent raise. They moved up, and it's the first day of their job, and we had confidence in them. I mean, when Lisa moved up, if we didn't have confidence in her, I mean, I worked with her every day. You know, if somebody would have came in here and said, well, we want somebody else besides Lisa, they would have had a battle with me because I work with her every day. I see her, and that's how you treat people. You don't treat new people and then abuse them.
But if you go back to the budget, Mr. Arner,
Yeah.
you know, look at what we increased again today. Just our insurance costs for this one item, $67,421. And we gave you, we set aside $800,000 towards salaries. But what did we do to compensate or decrease that deficit in the county budget? We have been operating at a deficit for 3 years. If you want to, fine, I agree 100%. Those people at the lower end definitely deserve that salary. There's others at the top of the salary or the management level that should be more, maybe some are overpaid, I agree with that. But, you know, nothing was done to compensate for the increases of many things going back. How many things have gone up over the years, but yet nothing was done to decrease the deficit of this county.
Well, this motion is an attempt to rob Peter what the funds for these vacancies to pay Paul, right? Without any concern for the impact on Peter, which in the future, and Commissioner Arner clearly stated, is the county taxpayer, right? And it's also our authority of the Board of Commissioners to set a budget and for taxation. And again, we saw this play out earlier, or mid last year, August, September timeframe, in motions that were made. Nothing prohibits the courts from coming back in here next week and saying, I want to hire and fill those 4 vacancies. Nothing prohibits them from doing that. I have no faith that they won't do that. And to support this would just be providing them an opportunity to do that and put us in a position, as Commissioner Arner clearly stated, where one, the budget and taxes have a significant probability of increasing due to our actions in support of this. That's all I have.
Your Honor?
There are a lot of issues and questions concerning the budget, concerning what the county has done by the salary study, concerning how the county has decided to implement that salary study. On December 8th of last year, this Board of Commissioners distributed to each rural office holder what the Board of Commissioners thought should be paid for each position in each office. That may be a suggestion, but the Board of Commissioners does not have the legal authority to establish the number or the rate of salaries for any position. But that's apparently what the Board of Commissioners wanted to do in that release. I asked a question, and I was told by Commissioner Arner that those positions, those amounts that were handed out by this Board of Commissioners were fully funded in the budget going into 2023. I met with your financial consultant perhaps a month and a half ago, and he confirmed that those positions were fully funded. Not just that were budgeted, but the monies were appropriated within that budget to pay those salaries for those positions 100%. And that was a change of what the commissioners had done apparently in past years, where they would fund at the earlier year's rate, whereas this year, they were gonna fund at the 2023 rate as you guys estimated salary should be set. So we come to a salary board meeting, the annual salary board meeting on January 3rd. And myself, in differentiation from the other department heads, made motions one by one as to what I thought the positions for my staff should be set at. Ultimately, there were 22 positions that were different than what the commissioners had handed out on their December 8th handout. And those positions were voted on by the salary board and approved by a 3-2 vote. That's what the salary board set those salaries at. That's the way salaries are set in this county under the county code. 2 commissioners on this board said, we're not gonna fund it. In essence, we really don't care what the salary board set these salaries at. We're not gonna fund it. Okay? Commissioner Lucas Everett says, there's a case by the appellate court by the name of Cadu. And Cadu says, the commissioners fund, the salary board sets. I don't disagree with that law. But Cadu dealt with a different circumstance. Cadu dealt with a situation where it came out of Monroe County, where the salary board and the office holders were requesting and directing the county commissioners to take funds from some other area of the budget. Not from salaries, from some other area. I don't recall what the other area was. And the appellate court said, the salary board is an administrative board. It is not a legislative authority. It does not have the authority or the ability to require the county commissioners to take from somewhere else in the budget and place it where the salary board thinks it should be. That's not what we're asking for here. This board not only passed the budget, they appropriate the funds to fully fund the budgets of the salaries we're talking about. We're not asking you to take anything from anywhere else, other than we're saying you should apply the funds that you budgeted and appropriated for salary purposes to salaries. Now, I've met in addition with Mr. Weiss, who has confirmed, I believe, again at the meeting last week, that 2 commissioners were unable to attend, that due to the vacancies in positions, due to the people who have left, who were at higher paid salaries, and left, in part, unfortunately, because county commissioners would not recognize their value and give them some additional compensation, there have been savings in the budget. My court administrator has computed those savings at close to $105,000 for salaries alone. I'm not sure what Mr. Weiss said the savings were, but the cost of what we're talking about, I'm not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars like Commissioner Arter seems to be throwing around. The cost for these 22 positions, to pay them at the rate that the salary board approved, is $25,514.60. That's, on average, slightly more than $1,000 a position. A number of these positions, under what the commissioners handed out on December 8th, were getting nothing. Not a single cent for an increase in 2023. Some of these people have sat in office and been in those offices for 20, 25, 30 years. And this board said the fair thing to do in light of inflation at 9% is to give these people nothing. Is that the right thing to do? I don't think it is. Apparently 2 commissioners think it is. So, we know the salary board has approved it. We know the monies are already in the budget to pay salaries. And again, the excess savings already is far in excess of the $25,000. My current understanding of the law is that once it's been budgeted once it's been appropriated, the court has the right to require that it be used for those salary purposes. I've discussed the issue with your solicitor. I believe, and he'll have to speak for himself, that he agrees with that. I know that Commissioner Arner said we've spoken with your solicitor. I don't know what advice he gave you, that's between you and him. But I believe not only are the funds are there, the law says it should be used for these purposes. It's not gonna cost the county 1 cent. Even if we would fill these other positions that were vacant today, which is not gonna happen, because we don't even have the people who are willing to apply for them, given the salaries that are set. Even if we do it, people who are filled today are not gonna be given retroactive pay for time they weren't even here. Those savings are there for the year. They cannot be lost. They cannot be dissipated. They are there. So, if the money is there, if the law says it should be used for these purposes, I guess if this motion is voted down, we have 2 commissioners or perhaps more, we're gonna say, we don't care what the law says. We don't care what our attorney advises us. We're gonna vote against it. Now, is that the right thing to do? I think disrespect for the law and disrespect for what the law requires says a lot about the people who wants to vote against that. So all I'm asking is that you do the right thing. You follow the law. You pay people some fair compensation that was approved by the salary board. And let's get it behind us. We're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking, like I said, $25,514.60 for 22 employees. Of those 22 employees, 6 have already left. Why? Look at the salaries you set, and maybe they'll tell you what's going on. And I think this county needs to wake up and do the fair thing for employees. Commissioner Arner said, we want to respect our employees, we want to do the right thing. Let's do the right thing for 22 employees who you've neglected. Let's do the right thing. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll respond to that too. I think what this salary study was, and I don't think I asked for it, I mean, I sort of did my own salary study, but when I look at this, the way that the money is distributed, you know, I think it was to not have disparity between the lowest salaries and the upper salary. And I look on this here, this person here is gonna get $3.36 under this proposal. And then I look further down the line, this person gets 38 cents. So where is this being fair to any of your employees that are in the courts? When I see this, when I see people that all the way through the salary scale, even if they're, in fact, I think even one of yours in the courts, the proposal that we gave or what we sat down with, I think the one position that you had asked for $18.99 for that one where we had a little discussion for a couple weeks. That one actually got 22 cents more. I think the IT person in the office did that person go from $15.42 of an increase of $2? So you can't say that we're not looking out for people, but again, I go back to it. And the thing was, people aren't getting paid or being paid fairly. And right here, I look at it again. The top person is getting $3.36, and the ones down at the bottom are getting 38 cents. So who's being fair or not fair? You know, if you want to distribute money, then distribute it money evenly, because the secretary down at the bottom works just as hard as the administrator at the top. You know, and that's my point. And we have, like I said, we have 400 employees to take care of. And and that was the process that this was gonna be. Now, this process, if it's not accepted, and I said, I didn't ask for this. Now, all of a sudden now, is our appeal process, is anybody gonna appeal anything? Or is there anything in the works for any of these positions to be appealed? I mean, I'm looking at this, I know the courts had asked for an extension and we denied it, but what's gonna happen? And we're not denying anybody coming back and appeal, even if it was after these, you know, after this. You come back and you have justification. But I said again, I look at it, the main objective that we were looking at was to have a fair wage throughout the whole salary scale, and it's the same thing, it's the same exact thing that was done for 30 years. And, you know, and I'm not breaking the law by being fair to people. If somebody would come in here and say, okay, everybody here is getting the same raise, or whatever's going on, then that could be a discussion. But I still see $3.36 at the top, and I see 38 cents at the bottom. That's my point.
I guess we can selectively choose to apply this law but not Act 57, Judge. I'm sorry. I find that hypocritical for
Do
you.
you want me to respond to that? Because I wasn't
No,
given a chance
because I'm just
before.
saying, you've had your opportunity.
Not to respond to that, Attorney Commissioner,
That's
because
an
you've done
issue
this
with
time and
Act
time again,
57.
sir.
I mean-
So the Commissioner's done this time and time again. He brings something about Act 57.
Sure.
When the court is not given an opportunity to respond. And that seems to be his modus operandi. And I've said, if he wants me to respond to Act 57, because I didn't discuss, I was trying to keep concentrated on the issue that was before you. Now he wants to bring it up again. If you want me to respond, I'll respond. I said this repeatedly in public, and Commissioner Lucas Evers doesn't want to hear it and doesn't want to acknowledge it.
I don't acknowledge it because I disagree with your belief
That
that you
has
don't have to
nothing-
comply, Judge
Has
Namath.
nothing to do with this decision or this vote here.
And I agree with that, but Commissioner Lucas Evers wants to bring it up. He wants to raise red herrings. It's improper, it's unfair, it's disrespectful.
No, it's not a red herring. You said we should apply the law and we should adhere to the law. It is a law. You were referencing a law. I don't see it as a red herring. It's analogous, it's similar, it's the same.
Ms. O'Donnell, I am ready for the vote whenever they are.
I'm
Ready-
ready to go
I'm ready
ahead
for the
and
vote.
No
do the
further
vote.
discussion?
No further
Okay.
discussion.
Mr. Arner,
No.
Mr. Lukasevich?
No.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Well, let's go back to the salary stuff. I know at the annual meeting, you guys had the proposed one, most of the, all the row offices except the courts had the proposed that you guys did, had that accepted and then made alterations. The courts did not, but why didn't you guys ever go back and take the ones that you had, the sample that you gave the courts and bring it up to 2023 instead of keeping it in 2022?
Why didn't we take unilateral action to make the
why didn't
motion?
Why didn't the salary board, wasn't that ever rediscussed on that part? Bringing that J sample that you guys sent out to everybody?
The courts had the option to bring that up at every meeting, right? So if
So-
it wasn't brought up as a motion to the salary board,
Okay,
right? I mean,
that's what I
our
wasn't sure.
initial recommendation was to accept, right? And then from there, build your other motions for
Okay.
additional increases.
So the initial one was just never brought up again too?
I
you
don't
guys.
recall it ever being brought up in a
Okay.
salary board, yeah.
Thank you. And then, with regards to all that discussion, you guys talked about employees leaving. Do you know how many employees have left since the beginning of the year?
I don't know, but I think Samantha might be able to answer, but I think I asked her the other day, there was actually 5 employees that came back to the county. Within the last, I think I have a list in, there was the sheriff's department got some back. There was 5 of them that came back. So, and I said, I think when some people leave, they don't realize what we offer. I mean, this benefit package, and I think Mark can even attest to like our pension. Like our pension is tremendous. I mean, it's like when everybody was losing money, we lost a little bit, but we gained. I mean, we were at like 80,000, I think, or 80 million when I came in here, and I think it was down to like 90 something. So we're pretty good on the benefit package, and I said some of these things we're not asking people for more co-pay. I mean, we haven't done that for a while, and it's like I think some people see that, and it's probably with the gas prices. I mean, you're paying $100 to drive to Allentown, and you're going down there for $2. It just doesn't work out. And I said, I still feel our county is a great county to work in, and I think the county has a bright future with everything that's going on within the county, and I think hopefully all these people will come back.
Amy, I would say you do a disservice if you're just gonna try to look at 1 year of number of people. You have to go back and do the research. All the agendas that include the personnel reports are online. You can go back and count number of people left, number of people who came. Hopefully in the near future, we'll have an HR platform that will allow us to do that instantaneously. I know that Sam is big into leveraging the technology, but right now, unfortunately, you have to go out and, basically go through the agendas and count departures and arrivals.
And, speaking of Samantha, was she on last week's personnel report, cause I don't remember seeing her.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yes, 2 or 3.